We are live. Yeah, I just got to turn the music down here.
Are we? People, are you there?
They're hearing music. Can you sing to the music? You probably can't hear it.
No, but I'm going to do the thing where I always forget to turn my volume down on my, my laptop.
All right.
Right.
What's going on? I'm not talking to the people in the room. I'm actually talking to the internet peoples.
The people
Because
in
we
the
are
internet
live
room.
on Facebook and YouTube.
Hello.
Hello. You see where the camera is, Greg?
Yep.
It's right there.
Got it.
As you can tell, we are in the Rocky Mountains with all the VBS friends.
Or something.
Or something.
Or somewhere.
And that's why we're doing things a half an hour early this week, because we got VBS, and then they have the little kids coming at 3, right? 3:30?
Yeah, 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
They start, so they...
Yeah.
So they'll show up early.
Yeah.
Earlier than that,
The kids do? They're driving?
Yeah.
But that's why we're starting a half hour early this week, is because we want to be done. Because I think they start praying at like 2:30, right?
Yeah.
Just their team and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But this is Greg
Hi.
with 3 G's, 2 G's at the end.
Clarify.
And I'm merely Andy, and we're here just to talk about some stuff. Greg, I don't know about you, but I hardly watch any TV anymore. Do you watch just like regular TV?
Very rarely. It's usually just apps, and it's usually the MLB network or, I don't know, not network, but the app. Games. What do you call this stinking app?
MLB TV?
Yes.
Yeah.
Could not be more simple.
I watch ESPN.
I haven't watched ESPN in I don't know how long.
Yeah, you're not going to bump that if you do that, if you want to grab that. I watch ESPN sometimes, but it's usually just kind of on in the background. You know what? One thing commercials. My mom loves her DVR because she can record something and fast forward through all the commercials.
Skip them all.
But what I found is, because I watch MLB TV a lot too, is the commercials are like just the same ones. Doesn't matter which game you're watching either. They're all the same commercials, and it's probably just a MLB thing. But I just kind of wanted to talk about commercials and advertising for a little bit. I got some stats here.
Oh, you do?
Did you know in 2020, there was American businesses and such spent over $350 billion in advertising.
In 2020? Wow, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
$350 billion?
And only $70 billion was in TV ads. The rest was, digital.
Yeah.
Can you guess the top spender?
In TV.
No, just top
Just
spender
overall?
in advertising.
An actual company or like industry?
Company.
Ooh. Because I was going to go either industry, I was going to go either like prescription drugs or insurance. But I'm going to go top spender, Geico.
Nope.
No?
Nope. The top
Apple?
spender.
Microsoft.
Nope.
Apple.
Nope. I know you use it a lot, so.
Facebook.
Nope.
Amazon.
Yes.
Amazon,
ding, ding,
really?
ding. Amazon was the number one spender in of spending on advertising.
So they spent 350 billion total is like half of Jeff Bezos' salary in a month.
But 350 billion was like the total of every company. Yeah.
Oh.
Amazon spent $6.8 billion in advertising last in 2020, which is crazy. Number
crazy.
2, can you guess number 2? I'd never guessed this, and my thought is like a lot of good it did.
Target.
Nope.
Old Navy.
Comcast.
Comcast.
And you were never going to guess
No,
that, so
I
I
wasn't.
decided to just tell you. Comcast was number 2 in spending, and they spent 6.1, so just a fraction
little
less than Amazon.
To be fair, that's a really big fraction.
It is. But a lot of good it seemed to do there, because
Yeah.
Comcast is garbage.
Yeah, but they're better than.
We don't have Comcast.
I have Comcast, Xfinity. No, I'm
Oh,
not.
it's Xfinity.
It's Xfinity. It's Comcast.
Oh, okay. So that makes a lot more sense
But
because.
Comcast also owns NBC, right?
But when it was Comcast was such a garbage company, like
Yeah.
for internet service
Yeah.
and cable.
They also own NBC television, so I wonder if that counts. If it's all under the Comcast umbrella.
Could be.
Yeah.
Number 3, AT&T.
Makes
They
sense.
spent $5.48 billion.
Yeah.
Number 4 is a chunk of companies called Procter
Procter
and Gamble.
Yeah.
So they own a bunch of other smaller companies like Bounce and Tide, and
Yeah.
they spent 4.28. Disney 3.15. Healthcare and the pharmacy industry, which a lot of it was related to the COVID stuff,
Maybe.
and then the rest is related to maybe. What do you mean maybe?
There's just a lot of drug commercials
There
on
are.
TV.
And they're really weird.
They are weird.
Because like 3/4 of it is spent telling you how bad it is for you to take, warning you that if you take this, then you're going to probably.
And then they tell you, ask your doctor.
Yep.
Tell your
and
doctor
if you're
about this
allergic,
product.
don't take it.
Right. It's like, no, my doctor should know what I need.
Yeah. That was $8.18 billion from the healthcare
Wow,
industry
that's crazy.
and pharmacy industry. Guess how much for political stuff?
Oh, way too much, but
It's probably not as much as you'd think.
yeah, but it's still too much. For what we get, I mean,
And it was a election year.
yeah, I'm gonna say, oh, well, because is there limits? I don't know. I should probably know this.
There should be,
Yeah,
in
I
my
think there are
opinion, there
limits
should
on-
be campaigning limits. Everybody should have the
Like-
same amount.
Well, 500 million.
$8.5 billion.
I meant per candidate, so I was still only $7 billion off.
That's still a lot.
Okay.
$8.5
That's so much money.
billion spent on campaign political stuff.
Oh man.
And that explains why. This is why I stopped watching TV, because like
Yeah,
every commercial
yeah.
during election year is political campaigns. And man, is it not a secret that everybody hates those?
Yeah.
Then why do candidates still do it? They know everybody hates
There's a particular candidate that was running here in Minnesota for a state office that my kids hate, and they don't even know who she is.
it. They are.
It was a female. They don't even know who she is, what she was running for, what she stands for. Nothing about her
but the
except
commercial
her
drove them
commercials kept interrupting their YouTube videos. and so like now they just can't stand her. They still will talk about how much they dislike this person.
See, now, I want to kind of go into that. I don't know. I just thought talking about commercials and all this kind of stuff would be interesting because there's a psychology behind commercials and all that stuff. But even just listening to you say your kids, it was interrupting their YouTube videos. Is there any benefit from advertising and commercials? Have you found anything in the commercial area actually be effective? What was the last commercial that you watched that moved you to action to go purchase their product or do their thing that they were asking? Did you stand up for cancer?
I think no, especially not during the Major League All-Star game or playoffs or whenever they tell everyone to do it. Let's see. Let me start with, if I had more money, it would probably work a lot more on me, like to go, hey, I'm going to buy that. You know what I mean? But probably some food stuff. I can't say
remember that
anything
one commercial
in
where they're
particular.
like, when you're feeling pad thai, you should run to the park and pad thai, where they're like,
I don't remember that.
It's supposed to be subliminal,
Yeah,
but
but I
it's
don't
so
remember that one.
obvious that it's not subliminal.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I would support that company.
You would pad thai that
I
pad
would,
thai company?
I like pad thai.
Yeah.
I would say probably, I can't think of a particular one, but probably it's been like a food commercial that something looks good, and then
Remember the last
fast food, and it's probably disappointing.
one? Remember the
I don't know. I can't think of one that I thought I need to try that, and I went out and did it.
What's your favorite fast food commercial? You like the Arby's commercials? They're pretty funny.
the Arby's
Isn't it
ones are
Ving
good.
Rhames?
Ving Rhames doing the
We have the
The-
meats.
the narration. Those are good. What's funny is now my kids like those commercials, but they won't eat at Arby's.
Why won't they eat at Arby's?
They're picky and they don't eat the meats.
I think it's funny is when they were doing the beer can chicken.
Yeah.
It's Arby's. We have the meats and beer.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty.
Yeah. I think I used to like. So this is it's not in Minnesota. There's a chain called Jack in the Box, and I think they're not just West Coast. They're all over the country in select places, but I know they're not in the upper Midwest. But their character is like a Jack. He's got a big bobblehead kind of looking white dome head, and they would make his face do like funny things like to go along with the commercial. And they're always kind of lighthearted and funny. I used to like those.
It's kind of like a clown, wasn't it?
Kind of a clown. Yeah, it was like a Jack coming out of a Jack in the Box. Kind of a clown. But it was a good marketing campaign with that guy because they even had they sold bobbleheads. Remember when people, not bobbleheads, remember antenna toppers? Remember it was like a big deal? People would put stuff on their car antenna. Yeah. Do cars even have antennas anymore like that? They don't.
No, they have like the slim line ones that just like a little shark fin.
But they had those. They had just some funny commercials. Those were good. They were good. I think.
Have you ever bought stuff from internet advertising from like you're scrolling through Facebook or Instagram?
I have.
And you
clicked on.
You remember what the
I did several years ago, but I regretted it because then I started like getting all kinds of ads for some like similar type
Everything
stuff.
Yeah.
This sucker will click on here and he will buy something.
I bought a. Have you heard of a company called Arm the Animals?
No.
It's like.
But it sounds fun.
It's like it's an animal activist company. All I saw was there was a chimpanzee with a rifle.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was funny, so I bought it, and it supports animal.
Militarization.
No, no, just like taking care of animals. Conservation. Thank you. So I thought it was cool. It was like a month ago. I still haven't gotten the shirt yet.
Really? Yeah. I have a family member who pretty much, I think, does a good share of their shopping through impulse buys on those ads. And it always takes like 3 weeks to get here. Man, Amazon has ruined us because everything, if it doesn't come in 2 days or less, like you think it's horrible. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not much help because I have done that and I can't remember what it was. And then also the commercials. I'm sure I've gone out and a commercial worked on me where I had to go get something, but I can't remember.
We all know. You've all heard stories, or it's happened to you, where you're sitting there talking with somebody, and you say, "Oh, I was looking. I maybe need to get this," and then you open up Facebook or whatever, or Amazon, and it's the little ad pops up for the exact same thing that you were talking about.
Creepy Facebook.
So here's what happened to me the other day.
We will probably get them.
I know
from
right
talking
now.
about these.
But the other day I got my new iPhone, and I was thinking to myself, I should probably buy a new case for this iPhone.
Oh.
I didn't even say it out loud.
Oh no!
And I
They're
pulled
reading
up
your mind.
Instagram,
Yeah.
and they had the ad for like this new sleek case, for the new iPhone.
And you bought it? Is that what you're waiting
for?
for?
Not that one. I bought a different one. But just like
they're reading your mind now.
You can't even think when you're around your device because it's going to read your mind.
Yep.
It's crazy.
That's creepy.
Which
if you just bought a phone, they probably know you're going to look for a case.
How did they know I bought a phone?
Because
it wasn't even this phone that I bought it with.
Yeah, but I don't know.
It was my other phone. Here's my theory.
Did you connect? Did you already upload like apps and stuff on there from a new phone? Maybe they knew that you're using the app from a new phone.
No, actually, you know what it was? Is because I didn't actually set up my new phone until I got the case and the screen protector.
Okay.
So I actually did it all on my old phone.
So yeah, they're just reading your mind.
Yeah.
Or your bank account.
So stop thinking.
Which is scarier, if they're reading your mind or looking at your bank account?
Well, if they can't do anything to my bank account,
except see, you bought a phone.
Yeah. Well, isn't that what they said? If you want to learn a lot about a person, you just look at their checkbook. That was back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you haven't heard that?
No.
Okay.
No, I haven't, but
Um,
I'll take your word for it.
yeah, there's so much psychology behind advertising.
Yeah.
I was talking to Sean Nielsen, who I'll probably have on this podcast at some
Yeah,
point.
that'd be great.
Because he's a photographer, and he loves telling stories through his photography. He does this thing called American Faces. You've probably seen some of his articles. Has he done one on you yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I first moved here. he
Okay.
did. I don't know if it was the American Faces or then if he called it that or
Maybe call
he
it something
called
else.
something else,
Sure.
but it was something similar. Yeah.
But there is this website I found that had 11, 12, 13 different psychological approaches to effective advertising. Emotional appeal. That's probably a pretty obvious
It's
one.
an easy one.
Promotional bandwagon advertising, facts and statistics. That seems pretty normal.
Yeah.
Unfinished ads. I don't know what that means. Advertisers here just play with words by saying that their product works better, but don't answer how much more than the competitor.
Oh.
Does that work on you?
So it's just a claim of like, hey, we're better.
The ads don't say who can
Okay.
eat more or how much more nutrition there is. They just kind of leave it open-ended.
Oh.
Keeps you guessing. I
Yeah.
guess.
Okay.
Weasel words. Have you ever heard of that one? It's
No.
a technique in advertising. The advertisers don't say that they are the best from the rest, but don't also deny it.
Okay.
Like Sunsilk hair fall solution, which I'm sure you use all the
Yeah,
time,
daily.
reduces hair. You should have used that.
What's it do?
It says it reduces hair fall.
Okay.
You should have used that more.
Yeah.
The ad doesn't say stops hair fall; it just says reduces.
Reduces,
So
yeah.
it's kind of
So-
sort of trick you.
So then you just look like you're losing your hair for longer.
Yes, it takes longer
For
to
longer
lose it.
time.
Yep.
You're just, yeah.
Endorsements, so
Mm-hmm.
celebrities and all that kind of stuff. What was the last thing you bought or that you bought into because of a celebrity that you liked? Can you think?
Maybe Arby's.
Because of big rings?
Yeah. I don't think that has ever worked on me, having a celebrity, because I know the game. It's not like they're paid to be there.
What was
They're
that?
paid a lot
like
of money.
Mike, I want to be like Mike
Like Mike, but that
That
was
was-
Nike. Was
that
that
was
Nike or
Nike?
Gatorade?
or Wheaties.
Or Wheaties? I want to say it was
It was,
Nike.
I'm going to say it's Nike.
Because those were his three big ones, but probably Nike and Gatorade, right, for sure. And
Oh, you could be right. Gatorade, maybe. I don't remember.
But,
It
you
was
know,
so long ago.
Gatorade, well, I would say Nike really, like, to me, Michael Jordan was the first one that, like, made endorsements, like, such a big deal. As far as, I mean, companies have had celebrity endorsements, actors or whatever,
Yep.
spokespeople, but to be so integrated with their brand, like Nike, you had the shoe, and they're still the most popular shoes now.
Yeah,
like
I remember
Jordans.
watching, I think Ben mentioned it during the sermon when he was talking about the Michael Jordan documentary.
Yeah,
Didn't he originally want to go with Adidas?
yeah, he was. Yeah.
Imagine if Michael
Yeah.
Jordan had gone with Adidas
Yeah.
instead of Nike,
Yep.
and he would have been, wearing
Yeah.
his shoes. It's crazy. Ideal family and ideal kids,
Mm-hmm.
using that as a technique to show that families or kids using their product are a happy-go-lucky family.
I see that on like board game
Yeah.
things. The still shots, they're always like all happy and on the same side of the table, pointing at the game board.
Yeah.
You ever see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Patriotic advertisements.
Mm-hmm.
USA. Try to get you to
This time of year, you'll see
proud to
that.
be American. Yeah,
Mhm.
this time of year with 4th of July coming up. Questioning the customer is a tactic, I guess. Advertisers using the technique, ask questions to the consumers to get responses for the
Okay.
products. Bribe people. Yeah.
Buy our stuff, we'll give you something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Come to church, we'll give you coffee.
A mug.
Yeah, you get mugged.
Yeah.
Surrogate advertising. I don't know what this. Usually used by companies which cannot advertise their products directly.
Oh, okay.
Their advertisers use indirect advertisements to advertise their product so that the customer knows about the actual product. That seems really confusing.
So it's kind of subliminal, or maybe is product placement like maybe part of that?
Product placement.
So I immediately start thinking about cigarettes. Like, do the cigarette companies, because you can't do cigarette commercials anymore, right?
Right.
Do cigarette companies pay like TV shows or movies to have their
Okay.
brand.
All right.
I'm wondering if that's what that is.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So anyway, there is a whole. I mean, that's why this industry is getting $355 billion a year, and it's only going to increase.
Yeah.
Especially with the increase of digital advertisement. But there is it's not just, let's see if this works. There's a whole, for those in the marketing business, a marketing industry, there is a strategy, a psychology behind putting together effective marketing campaigns and advertising.
Yeah.
In order to get the response. And honestly, when I thought about putting together these podcasts that Greg and I are going to talk about every week, part of that was to do a little advertising for Northridge, tell you what's coming up, but also to tell stories, because I think it wasn't directly in this little psychology thing, but I think that one of the best forms of communication is through storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And so hopefully it isn't just drab, words coming out of our faces, but it's kind of interesting through the form of storytelling, through the form of sharing our stories or whoever might be there. Any other thoughts?
No, but one thing. So when you said psychology, it reminded me of. I don't know if this falls under advertising, but I saw kind of a documentary a few years ago about Costco, and they were saying how much psychology goes into where they place pallets on the floor in the store. And you would go into Costco thinking like, oh, it's okay, it's a giant warehouse. I'm going to see seasonal stuff as I come in, right? And then like the TVs and electronics. But they put so their number one sellers are toilet paper and paper towels, and they're way in the back corner. So granted,
Forces you to go through
you have
the
to
whole
go
store.
through everything to get to the top seller. And then, but even where they place the center of the store is just kind of pallets of stuff, and where they place things it's very there's a lot of psychology that goes into it. It's very strategic, and they move them from time to time. Just
Speaking of that,
so.
what bugs me is if anybody goes over to the Cub Foods in Rogers, they recently reorganized all of their stuff, and I can't find anything anymore. I wandered around for like 20 minutes looking for what was I looking for? Terry Ho's sauce.
Yeah.
And I knew exactly where it used to be, and then they moved it.
They moved it?
I went through every single aisle.
Yeah.
I must have passed it twice. But
the only thing that's still consistent there is Levi. You can see Levi out there in the parking lot and say, "Hi, what's up, Levi?"
Pushing the carts around.
Yeah.
What has been the most memorable commercial in the past for you? Can you remember?
I will just say my favorite, and it's a family favorite, is the Geico commercial a few years, the running of the Bulldogs a few years ago. You remember that one?
Yep.
The running of the
Bulldogs. You
Bulldogs.
used to have one, right?
We used to have a Bulldog, and but I will just say, I will go down to say, I think as an industry, the insurance industry is killing it on advertising. I mean head and shoulders above everybody else. They have great commercials, characters, and great
family insurance
commercials. Yeah, you got Jake from State Farm, you got Flo from Progressive, and you got Geico had the Gecko forever. He still makes an appearance, but they also have the little guitar guys, and what's better than yeah. Oh yeah, that's the other favorite. That's the other favorite on Wednesdays. That usually comes out of Evan's mouth.
No, it's not Gary.
Fred.
Actually,
Fred.
we
Guess
looked
what day
up.
it is?
They're actually named the Camel too.
The Camel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Brax looked up the
He's
name.
got a
of the
name.
Camel.
The Geico commercials are awesome. Either the Hump Day or the running of the Bulldogs, though.
You know the Mayhem guy?
Yeah, yeah.
My dad would always, anytime he would see that commercial with the Mayhem guy, he would always go, that guy offends me. I'm like, what do you mean he offends you? What did he do to you? He just offends me. He's supposed to.
He's just because he's got such hard luck all the time. He's just,
I don't know if he meant he just bothers me or what, but
maybe because it's so low brow, kind of low.
I just think that's funny.
I don't know. Well, what's going on then if we're going to advertise what's happening at Northridge?
Yes.
Besides this week, we got VBS has been going on.
We're wrapping up VBS.
Wrapping up
this
tomorrow.
weekend, we're starting a new series.
Yes.
Called Get Real.
Get Real.
And it's all about having honest conversations with God. And we're going to go through not the whole, but we're going to pick through some song.
The whole summer, we're going through
the
Psalms.
summer. Yep.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a bunch of different people, everybody from Greg, Brax, Matt Hutchcraft, Glenn Hirschberger, who was here this last week. Yes, I'll do one of them. And
maybe 2 or 3.
no, just one. You're going to call in sick on
Maybe.
like at the last second?
might.
He's got like 2 or 3.
I might.
Yeah. So it's going to be really cool. It's about growing in our conversation and our relationship with God.
Yeah.
And so it's called Get Real. So that's the first thing. The second thing is there's still a lot of stuff going on with kids on the weekends, with the youth on Wednesdays, with the youth on the weekends, and with certain events. And these are really simple events and ideas that you can get behind just to come and hang out and volunteer for just one thing. It's not a huge commitment. So I want to encourage you to go to our website and sign up to work on Sunday morning with our little ones just for a Sunday, or go on Wednesday nights and be a small group for a Wednesday night, or Sunday morning with our youth and hang out with our middle schoolers on Sunday morning. It's really easy. You can come run sound on a weekend or click the thing for the words on the screen for the lyrics for the songs.
That's what I've been doing this week for VBS and the Bible Story. And I got to tell you, if I could do it, anybody could do it.
Well, I don't know. So serving.
Well, I was going to say is like, even if your kids are old enough, they could help. My kids were in with my wife Jordan in the nursery last Sunday. And I mean, my kids love babies, so it was just great.
Yeah, you don't need to find childcare to do childcare.
Yeah.
So bring them on.
If your kids are old enough, you could check on that. But yeah, that's an option.
So yeah, check out the website. And it's about serving together and loving each other together. It's not about filling a spot with a warm body. Come and be a part of what God is doing here. So do that. We got Cross is doing a backpack drive and filling a bunch of backpacks. You can go to their website and check out what kind of stuff they're needing and where to drop. It's Monday through Fridays. I can't remember what time it is, but through all of July. Fill those backpacks so kids in need who can't afford it themselves, they get some school supplies for next fall.
Also a fun way to troll your own children by reminding them that school is inevitably coming back. And if they're being naughty or something, just say, hey, come on, we're going to go back to school shopping. But then, just along the way, it's a good teachable moment.
And we are always, every week, we collect stuff down at the entrances of the building, donations for Cross, clothing, food, all that stuff.
See the giant brown bins in the entry. Brown or gray?
I think they're
dark
like
gray, brown,
granite.
Granite.
I don't know.
They're plastic.
It's kind of like the carpet that Terry's trying to pick up. It's this.
They're
dark,
the giant bins.
They're huge. They're at the
in the entryways on both sides of the building.
And you can bring it when you come to the service on the weekend, or drop it off during the weekend anytime. That's Cross, and then we have a concert July 22nd.
Yes.
It's Out of the Dust, husband and wife duo that are going to come and share their story, share some music. It's just going to be an awesome, laid back, fun fellowship music. Then we're going to have some ice cream afterwards. It doesn't cost anything, but I would love for you to bless them by giving them an offering, a free will offering. Invite a friend. We won't be streaming it because of copyright stuff, so you're going to have to come here to the building. But that's July 22nd at 7 o'clock with ice cream following afterwards. We have another ice cream hangout Saturday night in the middle of August, so look for details on that. And then the last thing I want to let you know, this is just for fun. Greg and I are thinking about, if you've heard us talk, you know that we like baseball.
Yep.
And I think we can only do this on our Facebook, our Northridge Fellowship Life group. I don't think we're going to do this on our Northridge page.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we're just going to do this on our Northridge Fellowship. Can we do it on YouTube? Here's what we're going to do. We are going to, if you like baseball, we're going to watch the All-Star game together and do our own commentary live. And so, if you join us, we'd love for you to join us. Yeah. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a lot of weird.
It's going to be something.
Weirdness. It's going to be something. Yeah. But that's July 13th, I believe. Yeah. It's that Tuesday?
Tuesday
night, All-Star game. We'll try to, be like real commentators. We can't actually show it, so you'll have to turn it on.
Yeah.
Just turn the volume down, and then you can turn us up.
Guaranteed to be better than Joe Buck.
I gotta
Guaranteed.
my money where my mouth is because I've said I'm
Yep.
not a huge fan. But Greg, you have anything else you want to?
No, I will say that if you kind of like baseball, but you like Andy and I, then we'll probably, by the end of that night, you'll probably hate baseball.
Or us. Yeah.
Either one.
All right. Well, what I want to do next is, Greg, I'm going to say goodbye to you.
I'm
going
leave.
to say hello to somebody that you all know, that you all love, and he's making his way up here right now. Let me hear you give a warm welcome for our lead pastor, Ben McEachern. Come on up. You're the next contestant on whatever this is. Yes. Yeah, have a seat.
It's nice to know that I've had an impact on this church, is that we have 2 ice cream events. Of course,
yes,
while I'm gone.
It's going to be while you're gone.
While I'm gone.
Yeah.
But, at least it's nice to know you're being taken care of well. You're getting ice cream. And
and that's why I wanted to bring you on here, is because you just said, while I'm gone. And if you've been around Northridge the last few years, you know that him and Terry oftentimes take a vacation. But this year it's going to be a little bit different. Before we get there, somebody asked me the other day how long you'd been at Northridge. And we had this really cool conversation about they didn't know you started the church. How long ago was that?
all right. Yeah, it was January 5, in the year 2000, we incorporated. And we began to gather a core group through that winter and spring. We did a soft launch, is what we called it. That's the technical church planter jargon. And May 7th, and kind of started, meeting on Sundays across the street at the elementary school in 1/3 of the gym. That's all we needed to do what we were doing. But yeah, we were practicing all summer, and a pretty dedicated group of people, some of whom are still around. I hate to start naming names because I know I will forget some of those, but
You know who you are.
but you know who you are. And so then we practiced throughout the summer, and then we had a grand opening on September 10th, 2000. And
That was when it officially launched. Was
when
in
we
September
official
2000.
grand opening. Yeah.
And so it's almost 21 years.
Coming up on 21 years. Yes,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's how long he's been at Northridge
Exactly.
for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And, you get some vacations here and there, but this year's a little different. Have you ever had a sabbatical before?
No, I have not.
This
So
summer,
this is a big deal.
for July and August, I think it's a total of 11 or 10.
About all the week, about 10 11 weeks.
10,
somewhere in
11
there.
weeks. Ben and Terry are going to go on sabbatical.
Yay!
Yeah.
We're excited.
And, I just mentioned we're going to be doing this series called Get Real, that a bunch of other people are going to be involved. He helped organize us and come up with the content, and we brainstormed and all this kind of stuff to put together what I think is a really exciting series.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we won't get to hear his thoughts and ideas and voice and heart. But it's still going to be, I think, a really good series. But he's going to be gone for it all. And let me ask you this. First, what is like one of the main things you want to accomplish while you're on your sabbatical?
Oh,
if I finish my sabbatical and this doesn't happen, I'm going to be really disappointed.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, one of the big things in the sabbatical is just time to just kind of work on my own relationship with Jesus without having to worry about everybody else's. Because I know you're going to be in good hands. I mean, because the teaching team that's going to be doing the Sundays, I'm really excited about. I mean, it's a great team that's going to be able to do that. I just think one of the commitments that Terry and I have is kind of the mornings are for Jesus and just the two of us to be in his presence and to be with him. And, there's stuff we're going to be doing, and we're going to be with different people at different times doing a few different things. But, by and large, I mean, that is our goal. And, we'll do there's some study aspect. There's some things that we want to look into, maybe do some reading on, talk to some people, which is also, a pretty significant aspect of a sabbatical. But, time to just do that with Jesus, I think, is really the key.
That's awesome. Did you hear that? His number one thing on his sabbatical is his relationship with Jesus. You going anywhere? Are you going to go anywhere?
Yeah. We were actually going to take sabbatical last year.
Yep.
And obviously last year didn't.
What's the deal? What's the problem?
It didn't happen last year. Did 2020 happen? No, I just blip. Yeah, anyway.
Like to forget about it happening altogether.
Yeah. And one of the things that the church had given to us as a gift is a week at a place called Sunscape out in Colorado, west of Colorado Springs, up by Pikes Peak, which is a retreat center for pastors and, pastor couples to go and get some refreshment, have somebody build into them. They kind of open you up, check under the hood. I mean, like we had to, I just thought it was going to be like a retreat, like I'm going to Trout Lake. And then they say, okay, before you come, I needed to retake my Myers-Briggs. We had to take the Taylor-Johnson assessment. And if you've never heard of the Taylor-Johnson assessment, they ask a lot of really personal questions. You fill it out for yourself, and then you've got to fill it out for the other person.
I don't know which is scarier.
I know it was much scarier to fill it out for my wife. And then they have a whole list of getting to know you questions, and it just kind of made me realize, honestly, what a real blessing this is. And I've talked to some of my other pastor friends who have gone to Sunscape and said it's just been a real blessing, strengthen their marriage, even if they're doing great. Even if you're doing good, and Terry and I are doing really good. Everybody I've talked to said, yeah, but you're just going to do better afterwards. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I guess the picture window at this place frames Pikes Peak, where in the dining hall and stuff. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. So we'll be in Colorado in the middle of July, and and then we'll be hanging out with with a really good friend, a relative. I don't know which they are. I guess they are both. They are just, I don't know what to call them sometimes.
You don't know if you're related to them?
Well, we know we're related, but it's just they're such good friends. It's like I don't even know what to call you sometimes. So
yeah, you don't want to say just relative because they're, also
right,
your friend.
Because they're also really good friends.
That makes sense.
And so anyway, so we'll spend some time with them because they live out. They have a house out there in Colorado.
Nice.
And then we're going to come back here.
Yeah.
And so, we're kind of mixing up ministry stuff with vacation and all that kind of stuff in there. And
yeah. So sabbatical doesn't mean not working or not thinking about Northridge necessarily.
Right. It is about clearing our brains.
It's not completely disconnecting, but it's also not being here.
Right. It's creating distance to be able to look back. And which is kind of where that progression there of, relationship with Jesus throughout the whole thing. Just a little relational checkup with Terry and I. Yeah, normally we would take vacation here, so yes, there'll be some vacation, a lot of vacation, I hope, put in there. But also, especially as we get into August, just time to kind of now relook at Northridge maybe from the outside and not, enmeshed in the details of the inside. And, and just to be able to think. And one of the things that we want to really think about, read about, and plan about is just kind of the whole idea of leadership development and developing young leaders. It seems to be something that God has been starting to kind of stir here at Northridge. And I'm really excited about our interns. I don't know if you've been paying attention. Our interns are awesome.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, when I was their age, I was not that focused.
Oh, for sure.
And not that good.
They were way far ahead of where I was, and apparently
where I
you were
was at that age.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just so impressed. And
all of them. The first one going back to Jaden.
Well, Jaden and Courtney
and
Zach, yes, and now Zach,
a different Zach,
another Zach,
and Aaron.
Yep.
And some of them have moved on, and some of them moved up. You know, changed positions and all that stuff, and yeah, it's a really cool thing. It's an awesome responsibility, if you ask me. It's crazy to think you're part of this young person's journey and development. You know,
right, and understanding their call. Yep. You know, because like for me personally, internships were a key way that I began to really understand God's call on my life. You know, you've been around, you know that I didn't really want to be a pastor. And God kind of changed my mind on that and made me realize, he really does love me and does really, you know, calls us into things we really want to do, actually, once we begin to trust. And, you know, so, we kind of received that call into ministry, but then, you know, been around the church long enough to know that ministry is a big topic. I mean, it's a very broad thing. I was talking to, one of our missionaries this week, and and he was just talking about, they've now we're going to hear more about this, but there's a transition coming there, and they're trying to figure that out and navigate that, and for me, Terry and I just decided, we're going to go to seminary, but we're going to do internships, and so I did an internship at a camp, which is great. I love camp ministry.
Yeah, I miss camp.
Yeah, Andy was a camp director, counselor, director, camper, all that kind of stuff.
All the years.
So we did that, and we drove away from that thinking, no, I mean, a lot of fun, but not what God was calling us to. But then we were going to do an internship in a church, and then after we graduated, we were thinking maybe a short-term, medium short-term, or like not like a week, but for like a year, someplace, on the mission field, and then sit back and assess what we were going to do. But we got arrested at our second internship. Went down to a good little church down in Monmouth, Illinois, Emmanuel Baptist Church. And summer 1988, drier than it is right now. Just a lot of stuff going on. Got to be involved in just the good fight, I guess.
Did you say arrested?
No. What did I say?
I thought you said arrested, and I was waiting for it.
No, I didn't get arrested.
So,
I don't know what I
thought
said.
You said we got arrested. Sorry to throw you off. You were down in this church in Illinois.
I was down in this church in Illinois. I did not get arrested.
Okay.
Sorry. I've never been
Correct.
arrested. I might have said the word because it is VBS.
It's on video, so we'll go back.
It's the fourth day of VBS. Yeah, you can go back, put a little sign that says yes.
I'm probably wrong.
No, you're probably right. There's been a lot of words coming out of my mouth as I've been doing games.
Day 4 of VBS, and it's been a great week, but it's a doozy.
It is. It's a lot of work. Anyway, so went there. Terry and I just drove away that summer just knowing this is what God called us to. Yeah, we loaded all of our earthly goods into a Ford Escort, literally. And we, drove home looking at each other and saying, we know what God's call is. So that was, it was through the internship. So anyway, so back to the sabbatical idea. That's actually one of the things that we're going to be really just thinking about, and that's just a piece of just looking at leadership development and, growth in that, and, just being effective as a church that, reaches young people and raises them up and is effective that way.
And having the space for not thinking about the immediate needs of the church, that's what we'll be doing as they're on sabbatical. They have the space and the real estate to think about those longer term bird's eye view kind of goals for the church.
Yeah.
this might not get an answer or a good answer. Is there anything new?
Has there been a good answer
Those
yet?
are all great. Please let them know that you're praying for them, that you're excited for the rest and the space that they'll get to do some of these things that when you're just having to, like he says, shoot the alligator in front of the boat, you don't always get to think ahead too much. So they're going to be able to get to do that. But I do want to ask you this, because as I think about my dad's life, is one of the things that he never stopped doing was he never stopped growing. He always was trying to do something. He was involved in a bunch of different men's ministry things. One was called Iron Sharpens Iron. Another one was called Man in the Mirror. He was constantly such a disciplined person when it came to his quiet time and his devotional time with God. But he was always looking to grow and to move forward. Is there anything new that you would like to try?
Interesting. Yeah, you told me you weren't going to prep the
I didn't prep
question.
him at all for any of these questions.
Anything new?
We have plenty of conversations, throughout the week that, most of the time we can talk naturally. But I had never, I don't know, is there anything interesting that Greg texted me about 2 weeks ago and said, I need a hobby. So he said, I want to learn how to play bass.
All right.
I'm like, sweet. I got one in my office, and I gave it to him last week. I said, here, just if you don't take it home, you're never going to do it. So I just threw it in his office. It's take it home.
Greg on bass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also wants to use it for at home to play with Asher's playing a lot of music stuff.
Yeah.
So he thought it'd be kind of fun to do it.
Oh, that's cool.
But is there anything new that you maybe would try to do on this sabbatical that you might not otherwise have the opportunity to try?
Well, I am doing one thing new. It's kind of a new old thing.
A new
But
a new old
but,
thing.
it always connects.
Is it new to you?
New has to connect with something, right? It doesn't come out of the blue. So actually one of the first things that we're going to do is a little vacation time. And I am actually going to be checking out to be able to rent big sailboats.
Like a full-on.
I mean, I've sailed a 24-footer up on Lake Superior for a long time. We're going to rent a sailboat with Terry and me and my son Grant and his wife Chrissy, and we're going to spend part of a week up on the Apostle Islands. But it's a bigger boat than I've really sailed before, and it's kind of that next level.
Sure.
Like indoor plumbing type level of sailboat.
Indoor plumbing.
It has, yes, a little. Let's just say the sailboat that I used to sail when we were up on Lake Superior, and our kids will tell you this, was like a third of a step above Boundary Waters camping.
It's actually pretty good.
It was pretty good. It was a lot of fun, but it was pretty much Boundary Waters
step
camping.
up from Boundary Waters camping.
Yeah,
is,
in my estimation, sailing this sailboat is more like I'm going to feel like I'm at like Holiday Inn or something. I mean, I've just skipped right over Hotel 8, right to Holiday Inn with this sailboat. So that's actually one thing, and it's kind of funny because I had to take their little questionnaire thing to determine whether I needed to go through their class in order to rent their boat and all that kind of stuff. And basically the response back I got was, yeah, we don't care about your sailing. Can you get this thing in and out of the dock without destroying it? That's the number one thing that they are concerned about. They could care less as to whether I can actually sail.
Sure. Seems weird.
No, because that's where most of the damage occurs.
Okay.
Running into the dock.
I figure if you bottomed it out on some rocks, that would probably do some decent damage too.
Yeah, I know how to avoid that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have to do you'll have to take a video, remember Robin Leach, the lifestyles of the rich and famous? Where you could give us a little,
rich and famous.
Yeah. Lifestyles of the rich and famous. You'll have to give us a little video tour of this this yuppie
Yeah,
yacht
I mean,
that
it's
you
like it's a yacht. It's gonna be like, yeah.
But with anything new, there's always that excitement, mixed adrenaline mixed with a little bit of anxiety and kind of uncertainty.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna actually be evaluated for the first time in my sailing career by somebody who's like really official. I've like sailed since I was 2 years old, and I'm 60 now, and I have never
taken a class.
Never taken a class or anything. I've just learned by reading
doing
and videos
watching.
and doing my own study and all of that stuff, and just being out in boats.
Yeah.
A lot of time on boats. So
that's exciting.
So now, and that's my problem is like, I don't always know what everything's called. It's the doohickey. It's the thingamabob.
That sounds like me talking about sailboats.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anything about sailboats. I know the little sunfish that we used to take out at camp. That's about it.
Those are fun boats.
They are. Unless you don't know what you're doing.
They're made for not knowing what you're doing.
Well, if anybody can mess up, if anybody can mess that up, that would be me.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share about your sabbatical? We got a bunch of kids coming up here, and I want to end before we are in their way. But any last things you want to share about sabbatical, or any last?
Any last
words?
Dark.
Any last words before you leave? Actually,
ominous.
he will be here this weekend.
Yes, I am
preach
preaching
one
this
more
weekend.
This
I'm
is
going to be preaching the first.
kicking off our Get Real series.
Psalm 1.
Psalm 1.
One of my favorite psalms.
Don't stand in the way of. Isn't that?
Of a oncoming train.
Yeah. You'll have to come
something
in
like that.
Anything else you want to say before?
No, I just other than I'm just so happy when I look at the ministry that's going on. Honestly, the fact that Terry and I just look at the staff and the volunteers and and the commitment level. That we're not worried about going away right now, because I just really feel like we've got some real positive momentum. I just encourage everybody to pray about how you're going to be participating, how you're going to engage in this coming year, and even as we're in the ramp up for the fall, I want to ask you to be praying right now, whether it's children, youth, connections, there's
worship team,
tech, this
being
online
small group leader,
online stuff, small group leader. Yeah. Just really be, praying about that. And, a lot of you are doing a lot of important stuff in your engagement in the community, and we really want you to be engaged in the community and the sports teams and all that stuff. But, just to balance your engagement there with engagement in the body of Christ, so that there's a healthy expression of Jesus Christ in this community. It's not an either or, but it's a both and, as we're, trying to make our choices and how we're arranging our lives and, living our lifestyle. And so just want to encourage you on that. And, man alive, there's a lot of you that you just know what to do. And I'm just really proud of the church.
Cool. Well, let me pray for you before we end here.
All right, great. Thanks.
Yeah. Heavenly Father, I just want to lift up Ben and Terry as they get ready to go on their sabbatical. I just pray that you would draw them to yourself, and that they would have amazing times each and every day, growing in their relationship with you through being out in your creation, through being in your word, even just being together as a couple. I just pray that you would expand their heart for you, expand their heart for each other. God, I pray that you would help them to see and think clearly and hear your voice. Just speak to them about what it is that you want to accomplish here at Northridge in the coming years. And I just pray for the creativity to just give them your creativity to think of some new and awesome ways to grow leaders here and to send leaders out into this world to make a difference for you. God, we just thank you for Ben and Terry. We thank you for the environment that you've put all of us in here at Northridge. We just pray for the staff this summer as they're away. Just pray for wise, godly decision making. We pray for the spiritual joy and energy to pick up just a little bit of extra stuff while Ben and Terry are gone. And we just pray that just even for them, that they would just be completely at peace of not being around and having to oversee stuff like they normally would be. We thank you, God, so much for your love. We just thank you for just all the ways that you carry us and walk with us and love us. And we just pray for an awesome rest of VBS this week.
Yes, Lord.
And we pray for this weekend as we come into worshiping together on Saturday and Sunday. We just worship you. Thank you. Pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Hey, everybody. We'll see you later.